Keys, what's up, bro?
Hey, how you living?
Doing good, man. Doing good. So I had a quick question for you. How much do you make?
I think, I'm up there.
Hello, family, and welcome back to episode 3 of our series with my husband, LeVar Harris.
And my beautiful wife, Rianne Swafford Harris.
We're here to start the conversations in and around finance that we feel we should all be having, with the hopes that you'll find the language you need here to continue the conversations in your own homes.
So, let's talk money.
Okay, so I have an interesting topic for this week.
What do you got?
I know, I always say that. But I wanted to discuss this societal norm of not sharing your salary, keeping it a secret, having it be this taboo, or people even perceiving the question of how much do you make as just rude and obtrusive. And, some people could feel shy or embarrassed if they find out that they are on the lower end of earners within their social group.
Correct.
So so first off, studies and research have shown that not disclosing your salary, not sharing it with your coworkers, right, in the workplace, actually aids in maintaining the wage gap between what white men and Asian cis hetero men make and Black women and other people of color. So I think in the workplace, we should all be, questioning how much we make and sharing it and comparing it, so we make sure that we're actually being paid our value and we're actually being paid for equally for the same labor, right?
How do you feel about a lot of companies? I know, I'm not sure if it's legal or not, but some companies have like a rule that you shouldn't talk about it, or it could just be more so just the societal pressure of that. But I'm always fearful that a company may retaliate if they find out that I'm the squeaky wheel and kind of vocalize my salary. How would you go about that?
This is not legal advice. I always have to say that. But in California, it's actually illegal for your employer to try and silence the conversations around salary. It's a form of retaliation and it's not permitted. Freely share your salary if you're in California.
Run through the halls.
So as a recruiter, I know kind of like you're negotiating salaries of other people all the time that you're trying to bring on the team. But internally, do you and your colleagues share your salaries?
Not at all, actually. It's still kind of taboo, which is kind of ironic because we talk about money and salary every single day in every conversation that we have with every single candidate. I have never had that conversation I've had it with one actual peer. She was actually a Hispanic woman of color, and she, after disclosing both of our salaries, because we both were leaving the company, she ended up finding out that she was being underpaid. So that was actually a situation where it kind of shined a light on, hey, this is something that maybe needs to continually happen. Another example I have in my previous company, there was a person that was above me. He was a white male, and he actually let me know that he has a group chat of other recruiters that are in this field, and they openly share their salaries, what they make at different companies. Then I kind of reflected on myself and I said, hey, I have a group chat of Black recruiters that are working in a tech space, and we were very secretive about our salaries because, again, the whole notion of I don't want him counting my pockets, I don't want someone to think that I'm better than him, or also may not want to know because if I'm underpaid, is it going to like ruin my happiness or make me feel a certain way? So that actually encouraged me to hop in the group chat and say, hey, we can actually use it to our advantage. We should all know what each other are making. We can negotiate with each other, figure out exactly what companies are offering, and make sure we have more of like some kind of footing. So when we do ask for certain demands, it's a lot more verified.
I think that's a great point you brought up, especially the difference in Black and white cultures. I think that especially as Black people, we're just always taught to kind of be humble, and so having conversations about your salary can come across as like braggadocious. You think you somebody now, like, you know what I mean? Like I just know that those are the type of things that So along those same lines, how many people besides me know how much you make? Who have you shared that information with?
Do you know how much I make?
That's a fair question. But how many people have you told? Regardless of if I remember, you've told me.
Okay, but okay. So obviously, as I mentioned, a lot of my peers that are in the same industry know what I make because we had that conversation and we're able to get a firm understanding of there's value in sharing that information. Aside from that, to be honest with you, I have one other friend that knows, only because we are kind of competitive, so we kind of use it as motivation to see who can hit a higher number at the end of the year. But aside from that, my dad is a very outspoken and transparent person, so he always asks me quite a bit just to kind of gauge me. I do tell him, because he tells me as well, so he's very transparent. Obviously, I've learned a lot from him from a business standpoint, so I always feel like it comes from a good place, but it's just very direct. How about yourself?
I mean, I guess you know, and then, like I said, just the way that...
I remember.
Of course you remember. Just the way that my job, you know, is... pretty much everyone I work with knows, just because they know what year I graduated. And then all of my friends, again, within the law firm world, you know, big law life, they all know the salary, because again, they just know how it works and they know what year I graduated. Yeah, it's public information. But I don't think that anyone outside of that bubble knows, like including family, including my mom.
Okay.
She's never asked.
It says me and Rianne here.
Okay.
So I had a quick question for you.
Okay.
How much do you make?
What?
As in, like, your salary at this new place. How much are they paying you?
Why do y'all... what is the point of the question?
What to understand how much you make? What do you mean? To gain the knowledge?
How much y'all make?
We asked you first. What is this?
I don't know. I'm confused. I have a sugar mama.
I understand that.
Okay, you don't have to answer us, but who does know how much you make? Who have you shared that information with?
Like some close friends who are considering joining a startup and want to have a good sense of what is a reasonable salary cut you could expect. I think that Black people tend to be very private about their salary, which I think is a mistake. I don't know if white people are as nervous about sharing their salaries as we are.
Yeah, I highly doubt it.
It ultimately goes down to, like, you should always know what your market rate is.
Oh,
you know what I
sure.
mean? And even if you just interview to know what someone is willing to pay you to give you a sense of where that is, I honestly think if everybody knew what that was, they would do a better job of getting to it, and it would not be as taboo to share where you are.
Exactly.
Interesting. So why do you think society, or I think it's more so America specifically, has this notion of like not talking about salary? Why is it so taboo? Why do we put value in terms of how much someone makes, in terms of like their overall contribution to the world? And
we do.
what's all that about?
I don't know, but I really feel like people tie your salary to your personhood. And literally how much you make cannot determine your goodness, how kind you are, how much you give. It doesn't do any of those things, but I feel like it is
prioritized America about the corporations
and
the
that's
money
it's just a byproduct of operating and moving within a capitalistic society, like just bottom line. And so because that is who America is at its core, you just kind of learn that very early on. That question, even when you first meet someone and you ask what do you do, that is a way off the back of judging someone. How should I respect you? Should I respect you?
Just imagine if we change the narrative to saying how many lives do you impact on a daily basis, like in a positive way, obviously.
Right. So when it comes to sharing the salary information amongst family and friends, we pretty much discussed that the only con, though not to minimize it, is the judgment that you'll get once people know how much or how little you make. And so I don't think that is something that will change overnight, but I think that we should keep in kind of like perspective in front of mind the pros that we discussed, which is really that, you know, personally and for your family and friends within the same industry, it gives you all a better baseline understanding of your worth, what you should be demanding, that, you know, in negotiating when you switch careers or within your current company. If you have any additional pros or cons or experiences, right, with sharing your salary with your coworkers, with your friends, whether it was retaliation or whether you got a promotion at the end result, we want to hear from it, right? Let us know in the comments where you stand on this. Are you someone who openly shares your salary? Are you of the camp that it's no one's business?
And for those that need help managing their current salary, we have a course, Maximizing Joint Finances, that is live in both of our bios. Check it out. Until next time, fam.